In the heart of Boston, there's a quiet cemetery where history whispers and ghosts linger. From colonial heroes to restless spirits, it's a place of mystery, legend, and chilling encounters. Let's step into the Granary Burying Ground and discover who, or what, still roams there after dark. Hi everyone, welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my family and I love all things paranormal, and we've visited some of the most haunted places in the country. Today I want to take you to the Granary Burying Ground in Boston, Massachusetts. It's the third oldest cemetery in Boston, and it is the final resting place of some of the most influential figures in American history, including Samuel Adams, John Hancock, Paul Revere, and the victims of the Boston Massacre. The parents of Benjamin Franklin are also buried there, and possibly the woman we know today as Mother Goose. In 1660, a portion of land from the Boston Common was set aside to establish the cemetery, and it remained in use until around 1880. It was one of two cemeteries that was established to help solve the overcrowding issue at King's Chapel Burying Ground. It was originally called the New Burying Ground or the South Burying Ground, but in 1737 its name was changed to the Granary Burying Ground because of the grain storage building that stood where the Park Street Church stands today. Despite the cemetery being located next to the church, the two are not associated. Despite its small size, about 5,000 people are believed to be buried here. However, only around 2,300 headstones remain today. Many of the earlier headstones were made of wood and have long since decayed. Others have simply crumbled due to age. The cemetery underwent some major changes in the 1800s, as did most of the cemeteries in Boston at the time. Sidewalks and shade trees were added to give the cemeteries a more park-like feel, and headstones were moved to accommodate the landscaping. Later, the headstones were moved again and arranged into neat rows to allow for lawnmowers and easy maintenance. Unfortunately, these changes caused many headstones to no longer match the correct graves, making it difficult to pinpoint the exact locations of certain burials. And over time, some tombs and graves were lost. So in January of 2009, a visitor was on a self-guided tour and made an unexpected discovery. She left the sidewalk, most likely to get a closer look at one of the headstones, and then she fell 3 feet into a hidden granite stairwell. These stairs led down to a brick tomb, which was still in pretty good condition. Once they examined the area, they discovered that the stairwell had originally been covered by a slate slab. Over the years, the slab had been covered with dirt, making it look more like it was part of the ground, and eventually the slab deteriorated enough and buckled when the woman stepped on it. Thankfully, she wasn't injured, but it was quite the surprise. Though historians are not completely positive of the occupant's identity due to the moving headstones throughout the years, historical records suggest the tomb may belong to a man by the name of Jonathan Armitage, who died in 1738. With almost 3 centuries of history, it would be strange if the cemetery didn't have a ghost story or two. Visitors occasionally report seeing a ghostly figure on horseback and believe it to be none other than Paul Revere himself. But the most commonly seen spirit is of a man in colonial clothing. He is believed to be James Otis Jr. Otis was a lawyer in the 1700s, and he was known for his fiery temper and eccentric personality. He's also known as the man who coined the phrase, "no taxation without representation." He was well acquainted with Samuel Adams and especially John Adams, and was on track to become one of the founding fathers, until, unfortunately, it seems his temper got the best of him. In 1769, during a physical fight with a British customs commissioner, Otis was struck on the head and suffered a severe injury. He was never the same afterwards, and he was said to be insane and reportedly frustrated by his inability to continue in his profession as a lawyer. So he seemed to have turned to some heavy drinking and unfortunately sunk into deep depression. Legend has it that Otis prayed to be struck by lightning, and on May 23, 1783, it seems his wish came true. During a thunderstorm, he stepped outside his friend's house and was killed by a lightning strike. Otis was buried in the Granary Burying Ground, and visitors have reported seeing his ghost wandering the graves ever since. In addition to the apparitions of Paul Revere and James Otis Jr., many visitors report the uneasy feeling of being watched, and sometimes even feel taps on their shoulders and backs as if someone or something is trying to get their attention. Ghostly lights have been seen in the cemetery at night, as well as black shadow figures. Some people have reported hearing disembodied voices, and paranormal investigators have captured eerie EVPs. Unfortunately, we didn't have any experiences while we were there, but we did do a ghost tour, which took us through the cemetery at night, and I can see how it would be a pretty spooky place if you were alone. The Granary Burying Ground is a fascinating blend of history and mystery. From its colonial roots to its ghostly legends, this cemetery tells a story that spans centuries. Whether you come for the history or for a chance to meet one of its spectral residents, the Granary Burying Ground is an unforgettable experience that I highly recommend you check out. Have you ever been there? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more haunted history.